I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, January the 20th, brought to you in part by National Beef Wire, newest and best way to keep up with everything cattle. I mean, it's your best source if you're getting online and wanting to look around. There's a jillion channels on there, and you can go in there and look up anything in your purebred field. You can look up different auction markets. You can look up different products. You can learn a world about the cattle industry right there. And then we've got our real-time quotes. Nobody's got them like that. Just as fast as they're coming through the sale barns, they're scrolling across the screen. You can look at that. It's very interesting. You can get this report there every day. We've got an electronic newsletter that you can subscribe to that's free. It'll be in your inbox every morning when you get to your phone or your computer, and you can take all that information there. But go to nationalbeefwire.com, and if you're interested in one of these National Beef Wire TVs, if you've got a sale barn or a feedlot, get a hold of us and we could probably fix you up with one of those pretty fast. And you provide the monitor, and we'll send you the way to collect it. And there's a ton of information on there, guys. It's like a DTN screen on steroids. We had a Feedstuff correction on Tuesday. You know, we've been talking about our grains just going up, and just reaching levels that were not expecting and never dreamed we were going to reach, you know, at this point in time. But we did see some correction here as we come into this new week with a holiday to start out the week. But corn was down 5 to 7 cents on the nearbys. Beans down around 31 cents. That's a significant correction, and not that we shovel beans to the cattle, but you know, there's a lot of products from soybeans that we use in rations, and it makes a big difference there, guys. But we saw that, a correction there. We also saw a correction on your back months of live cattle futures. We've been talking about, if you've been listening to me the last several visits, how impressive they've been. Well, they did back off there way out front on the back months there, but you know, it was pretty good up close. And so we saw a little balancing out of that, just a little bit on your live cattle. Feeder cattle, very impressive if you get on past this spot month, and that was the most impressive thing really to look at. But we'll talk about your cash market. We had the Texas cash pool come in on Tuesday. I told you guys they're going to do that every week, and it doesn't appear that anybody's helping them out, guys. They only had 600 head for the sealed bid deal. If you guys won't help one of these things, how do you expect them to ever take off? You know, it's just like when the online auction was getting started. You know, we just didn't have enough people to get in there, didn't get enough offering there to ever get that thing to take off. This Texas cash pool will work. They had 5 competitive bids. The Packers want this thing to work because it gives them an opportunity to show good faith and show that they want to get in and give a competitive bid for the cattle, and you know, and they to show that they want the cattle. But when you don't have but, you know, 600 head, you know, it's hard for them to really sink their teeth into it. But we had another good market on the Texas cash pool, which is through Consolidated Beef Producers. You can call those guys, just look it up, Consolidated Beef Producers, Canyon, Texas. Give them a call. It won't hurt you. They don't bite, and you can learn a little bit more about it. It's a good deal. It's a good program. It'll start. They just want a sampling of your cattle. You don't have to tie the whole show list together, guys. But you know, the top bid on Tuesday was $110.50. Pretty fair price. When you guys got guys in the Northern Plains puking them at 105 and 107 and stuff like that, that $110.50 sounds pretty good. And you could have got that, but likely that will help hold your Southern Plains cash market together. But Southern Plains cash is running a little bit light on the show list, and they're starting to truck them from the north down, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. If you guys will indulge me just a little bit, and I know I get way too political for some of you guys, I would like to say a little something about President Donald J. Trump leaving office here today. I would like to thank Donald Trump for running, for being our leader, and for all the work that he did the last 4 years. He sure didn't need to do it. But I tell you what, I'm just thankful that he was there. He kind of kept the liberal wolves at bay for just a little bit. I was just thinking through some of the things. I didn't look any of this up, but just thinking through some of the things that he did for us, despite all the rhetoric and the fighting and the bickering that they had done, the things that he was able to get done. He loosened regulations everywhere. You know, to add a new regulation, he made them get rid of 2. If you remember, that sounded like a pretty bold statement, but by the time that we got 4 years by, he got rid of a lot of needless regulation, made us energy independent for the first time, really, since the revolution of you know, cars and industry and all that kind of things. He got rid of the death tax, so now you guys don't have to sell half your farm to inherit a farm. That was a big shot in the arm for agriculture. You know, I know so many people that are in the big family farms and ranches and things. It was just sad to see them have to split those up many times before just to pay the taxes on them. He kept us out of any new wars. We'd seemed destined to get in war with North Korea and a lot of other places. He kept us out of those. He brought our troops home from a lot of those places that I don't know why we were still occupying for so long. He built the wall, or most of it. If they hadn't held him up so long on the funding there, we would have had the whole thing built. But he got the bulk of it built and pretty much eliminated illegal immigration coming from the South. All the drugs, you know, coyotes bringing girls and women in to abuse them and human trafficking and all that kind of thing. He pretty much stopped that. They didn't even try it anymore. You know, and now Joe Biden says he's not going to build another foot of wall and might even tear it down. Well, we'll find out how tough he is when those caravans get up to the wall. And it's likely going to be on some new cattle he just turned out. They'll find the hole in the fence, guys. And he might rethink that if he has any logic to him at all. President Trump got a ton of conservative judges approved, so that will help kind of keep our core values together, at least through the court system there. But a lot of judges he got on. He took on the tough jobs that other presidents just kept kicking down the road and didn't want to have to deal with. He took those on, took them by the horns. He fought for the common, red-blooded American citizen. And not just the ones of us that are white-skinned. I mean, we're all red-blooded there. I don't believe he was racist at all. And if you talk to people of color that considered him a friend, they took offense to that. And I just think that he just was not a puss, and he just took things on bold, and that's not really a thing that you can do anymore, I guess. You know, they don't want you to get out and show strength and be confident in yourself and love your country and all that kind of thing that so many of us love. But likely we won't see him back again. I don't think they're going to get anything done to him that's going to keep him from running, but after 4 years of picking the resort of his own, of his choice, playing golf and hanging out at the pool with Melania, he'd probably have to have his head examined if he would want to come back and be ridiculed, you know, by the left wing all the time whenever he absolutely does not need it. But you know, I don't know how we're going to get our side, and many of you guys that watch this agree with me. I don't know how we're going to get our side pushed through. It seems like the Republicans have kind of failed on us. They're all jockeying position, and most of them are elderly jockeys up there trying to position for you know, the next administration, all that stuff. His friends are abandoning him and things, and pretty much abandoning us too. But you look at, I don't know how this is going to work. They're trying to make it a one-party system now. They'll probably get that done if they get these new states brought on, and then they bring in a bunch of illegal immigrants and let them vote. You know, we know who they're going to vote for. We may never get it back again. Maybe we'll start a new party just called Trump, and people that feel the same way that a lot of us do. You know, the way that he did, the way that his whole push felt. Maybe we can make a party system out of that. I'd sure join, and I'd vote for them all tomorrow if I could. But I know I got a lot of friends in Kentucky and a lot of Feeder Flash gang members in Kentucky. What the hell's happened with Mitch McConnell? Did he trip on his dewlap and hit his head or something? I don't know what the heck's happened to him, but you know, he acted like he was on our side, and the things that he's done the last several days and the last few weeks has kind of showed us that he's not. But probably won't talk about politics hardly at all going forward, and I know that will tickle a lot of you guys to death. But you know, going forward to politics, watching those liberals pick at our ideals and our traditions is about like watching some vultures pick around on some roadkill. And I'm not going to be able to watch it very good, let alone talk about it. But let's go ahead and talk about your cattle markets, your futures, cattle futures. On Tuesday, February live cattle futures up 55 cents at 113.32. April up $1.15 at 119.35. Going forward, I told you it was kind of a mixed bag on your out front live cattle, down 47 to up 45, but a slight correction on those back months, but they are a big premium and they're selling awful good. January feeder cattle down 17 cents at 134.40. March up 97 and pretty much all up from there and pretty big. Up 97 on March, 136.80. Going out from there, up 130 to up 172. Why are we seeing those bigger prices? Because we're getting to the point where we're going to be through all those spring-born calves that too many of you have. As you guys might be heading out to check heifers or something in the cold, you're not even spring calving, you're winter calving, just to try to get as big a calf as you can to sell next year or next fall, and we're doing all of it too much at once. And I've heard several feedlots say, I don't know what we're going to do, you know, for cattle when we get to the spring months, because there's just not going to be near the supplies out there what we need, because we don't have enough fall calvers. I talk about your fat cattle trade. I told you about the Texas cash pool, about 600 head. They had 5 competitive bids from 5 different packers. The top bid was $110.50. Pretty good market. That was only in Texas and only on 600 head. Didn't have any trade in Kansas, didn't have any trade in Nebraska. Now, Iowa, you know, the guys that are holding the market back so many times, somebody had a long string of big, heavy elephants and rhinoceroses that they sold at 105. Your packers scooped them up, and a good portion of them are going into the southern plains for kill. You know, you're going to sell cattle $5, $6 under the market. You know, that gives them a little room for some freight to take them down there where they need them. But, you know, letting those cattle get that heavy is also just negligence of your marketing. You know, it sure wasn't going to get any better on those big things, and you just got to pay closer attention to that. You know, it's kind of like sitting down at a blackjack table and the guy next to you, you know, it doesn't hit when he's supposed to, and he hits when he's not supposed to. It's very frustrating to be in the 5 area negotiations with those that are just out in left field. Box beef cutout values higher again. I tell you what, these packers are cleaning house now, guys. They've had straight up market on their wholesale beef prices here for ever since we got back from the holidays. Choice cuts on Tuesday afternoon, $217.49 up $245. Selects $206.44 up 60. And then you look at your slaughter and you can't understand why they're not stepping that up a little bit. And I know they have some maintenance to do and some things like that, but slaughter through Tuesday, 229,000. That's 2,000 less than just last week and 16,000 less than the same week a year ago. I tell you what, they're getting their margins built back up there, guys. They're giving less for fat cattle, and their wholesale beef prices are going straight up. They're bound to get pretty aggressive, and usually you can count on a greed from the packer, but you've got to have greed. None of your economics work if you don't have greed. If people won't pursue something that appears like it'll make money, none of your economics work, and that's a rule in there if you guys have studied any of that. We depend on greed, and we're hoping that your packers get in there and turn up the chain speeds, but the heck of it is, they know they're going to get the cattle eventually anyway. So they're so disciplined, they're so patient. That's how come they're so good at what they do. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, or actually let's talk about what else is going on. Vic and Brody Peak at Emporia Livestock Sales there at Emporia, Kansas, got their 80th anniversary special here on Wednesday. I tell you what, any market like that, any business of any kind, to stay and continuing to go for 80 years, and they've got young blood in there. I tell you what, it looks like it's going to continue to go. But they don't just sell seasonally, even though they're out in the Flint Hills, and that is a big time for them. But they've got a big offering of cattle here on Wednesday for their 80th anniversary special. We want to wish them congratulations on getting that deal done. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction sitting at 132.46. That's up 44 cents. So that's the first time it's been up for a while. You try to compare that to the CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index. It hasn't been updated for over half a week now. So due to the holiday in there with the government and all that kind of stuff, late sales, running really late at night, it just takes them a long time to get that done. Real-time index, you just hit the refresh button on your computer, and that's as quick as you can get it. Let's talk about your big sales. On Tuesday, Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri, 3,200 head there. Compared to last week, feeder steers were $3 to $6 lower, with the exception of 7-weight steers, and they traded a buck higher. Heifers were about $2 lower where they were tested, but kind of tough sledding there in West Plains. Fredonia, Kansas, Brad Hahn there and my friends there at Fredonia, they had a pretty good sale. I pulled out several quotes here. 2,200 head there, and if you look at these loads of steers there, selling pretty darn good down there in southeastern Kansas. 3 loads of these middle 8-weight steers are in this grouping. You see, selling from 134.35 to 134.85, and that's above your index levels, and just a pretty darn good market there. I'm going to talk about a sale barn that I've never talked about before. I don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's there. And I knew that one reason it was important is that it was there is so they could have it as a delivery point for fat cattle deliveries there. But Tri-State Livestock Exchange in Ray, Colorado. I always remember Ray, Colorado, because my dad bought cattle in the country. He had a partner from Ray, Colorado by the name of Dale Quiggle. And if anybody remembers Dale Quiggle, he was kind of a character, and I just remember him when I was young. He was always at the deliveries when we picked up country cattle. But Ray, Colorado there, I'm going to show you this market report out of there. Pretty good market report for a new sale there. And I want to show you, or I'm going to tell you several individual quotes as you look at this automated market report. How about 56 head? 457-pound steers bring $184. 64 head weighed 565 at $175.50. 134 steers weigh 643 in Ray, Colorado at $154. And 74 head weighed 737 at $147.50. So glad to be getting some information from them. We wish them the best of luck. Another market further up north, Imperial Auction Market, Imperial, Nebraska. Their market on 2,700 head was steady to $6 higher. Really top quote on feeding steers, 180 head, 821-pound steers bring $140 smooth. But the top quote that I see, even though it was on peewees, but I just give you an idea of what they'll still bring, is out of Winter Livestock, Lahana, Colorado. John Campbell and company there. Zach Tran, top quote for the day, less than half a load, but still 50 head, 382-pound little peewee steers, almost weighing 4, bring $214.50. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.